Welcome back to the Netherkast. I am Cyborg, and I am joined, as always, by Temp, Razor, and Shad for episode 102. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't checked out the Discord already, make sure you do so. It is in the description of this video. Come join the community. Over 400 members. We at least have 50 every day that are actively engaging in discussion. So pretty much 24/7, you can find conversations, you can find matches online, whatever the case. So definitely check that out. Thanks everybody for tuning in. So let's talk some Mortal Kombat 11. I guess the new news is Kano was revealed for Mortal Kombat 11 at the Brazil reveal event, which seemed like a lot of just repeated info, maybe a chance for people to play the game that are in Brazil. But they also got treated to a special message from Ed Boon, as well as a reveal of Kano. I mean, it was kind of like a render, and then they also got an exclusive skin for Kano. So,
well, the skin was the reveal, which is a really weird order to do it in.
Yeah, I don't think they intended it to be that way. I'm guessing it was that storm.
I think they were going to reveal Kano on the Kombat cast yesterday if there had been one, and then it wouldn't be so awkward.
They had that render ready to go right away. It was like, okay, here's Brazilian hitman gangster revolution Kano, but don't worry, the hat's not his default outfit. Here's the normal one.
Yeah,
it's a pirate hat. Call it what it is.
I'm trying not to take the easy way out here.
Everybody's going to call it Pirate Kano. There's no reason to resist.
Anyways,
Dignity, sir.
so Kano's
Brazilian
confirmed.
Revolutionaries, they wore pirate hats. That doesn't make it not a pirate hat.
Oh,
So
God.
thoughts on Kano being in the game? I think we all kind of assumed that he was, just based on the menu art. It wasn't confirmed. Just speculating that he was going to be. I know is one of those things that I was pretty dead set on that he would be on the roster, just based on the fact that he was prominently featured in the 1v1 art against Sonia or whoever the hell
It's
that
Cassie, which makes it even more convincing.
There you go. So, yeah, just that fact alone, that he was in the menu art on the 1v1, it would just seem really odd that he wouldn't be playable. So, here we are. We get Kano, and it seems like the younger version of Kano, not the older version. So, older version might as well be still locked in prison or whatever.
So far, every character we've seen, like a younger version of them and an older version of them.
Sure.
There's no doubt in my mind we're gonna get both.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. That would be kind of silly. So,
Also, like, the 1v1 picture from the menu you're referring to has a slightly different headgear piece. Like, he has his MKXI that covers his whole ear.
ew. Yeah, I think that's my favorite thing about this Kano design. From what I saw, was the classic eyepiece. That's the Kano I like. That's my
me too.
Kano. So, yeah, I'm glad to see the classic eyepiece. It's more aesthetically pleasing than the giant thing that takes up half of his head.
And also didn't line up with his other eye.
Yeah.
Has there been a shot of actually him in game, or like I heard something about
No.
a menu screenshot?
There's the gear. It looked like the gear selection menu. You don't see any of the UI, but it's just where it's like kind of like the model viewer. They posted a very short little video of his model like rotating a little bit. So that's how.
Yeah.
I think I missed it. I was too busy freaking out.
Yeah.
Just
I think
hoping
that was-
the face, like the eye attachment, actually does not cover half the head. Because
Well, I'm
render,
sure,
you only
I'm
see a
sure
little
the eye is gear.
Well, yeah, it goes without saying.
Yeah. So, Kano. This is a character that, beyond the menu art, this is one of those characters that when I was talking to Temp, I basically said, this is a character I could absolutely see in this game. I think just from his design, the way he's usually designed in his gameplay, I could totally see him in the game. So, not surprising at all to see him make this roster just from he just seems ripe for the picking for this type of gameplay. I think he's going to do really well, and he's going to be a lot of fun.
I think I'm actually kind of excited to see how his variation moves shake out, because one of the things about Kano and MKX is I loved the idea of commando, but I also just personally think Kano should never not have his eye laser. I think that should be like a standard move. So the idea that maybe I could get all like the cool clothesline and suplex stuff and the laser in one variation that's exciting to me. That's something I'd like to play.
Sure.
I really want the Ford MK3 knife slash back. I used to love using that all the time. That, the strangle chokehold. I could take or leave the laser, I suppose. But I've always just been a huge fan of that, like, encompassing forward step range covering knife slash.
I'm also excited to see knife gear where we can make it like glow like it did in MK1 and 3 again. I wanted
Yeah.
the lightsaber knives back for a real long time.
Yeah, that could be cool, just for the classic effect. I think overall his model, it looks good, like his base classic model. I like it. Some have pointed out that he needs more like chest hair. He's kind of bare, which I do think is a little odd.
He looks really bare bones.
He needs
That
like,
probably is. That probably is what's helping people think. Well, what's getting people to think that it looks kind of really odd. We're used to seeing Kano as a really hairy dude, and he doesn't even have tattoos on both of his arms. He just looks kind of basic. Not bad, but just really stripped down.
He has probably the least like stuff on of any character we've seen. Like he's not wearing anything except pants, his bandolier, and some gloves.
The position of the bandolier gives me a lot of hope for classic and retro skins and costumes because it's properly centered. It's not like off to one side a little bit at all. And I think it's going to lend really well to MK1 or 3 outfits because God knows after the abomination that was MKX's attempt at Kano, we kind of need it.
Yeah. A classic Kano should be much easier to make this time. Like if the bandolier is gear and you can switch it out for one that has like the square glowy thing or no glowy thing at all.
Yeah.
That would be nice to see. And also like I've already seen in the Discord suggestions for the Sonia's hair necklace from Deadly Alliance instead of the bandolier. I would love to see that.
Oh, that'd be amazing, yes.
It just depends if he has moves that does he use the chest thing for any moves?
Well, he never has. Like that would be like how much can you rip off from Suhao before you have to admit maybe Suhao wasn't all bad?
I mean, they can do everything they want.
I think the internet is slowly coming around to that point of view. At least the
dark side of the internet's coming around.
Yes.
I feel like the daylight side is still like, what's a Suhao?
Butterfly effect, my friend. Butterfly effect.
I would hate to see him shoot a laser out of the chest thing. That would be...
I don't think... No, he didn't do that at all in 10, did he?
No, he doesn't do that. That's not a Kano thing.
So yeah, for all that we know, he could just remove it as an accessory.
What he has the eye for. He can shoot
Take
lasers
the damn
out
thing
of the
off.
eye. He doesn't need to shoot them out. The chest is just an arc reactor.
It still bothers me that he even has it in the first place just a little bit because of those because of the variation systems. He looks like a fucking traffic light. So if we can just dispense with that entirely.
I mean,
yeah.
I suppose shaders.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't like the whole shaders thing in general, but you know you're gonna fight somebody online who's using like neon green Kano lights.
Temp.
I actually think like Kano's one of the few characters where the shaders are very much welcomed. I like having multiple lights on Kano. When I woke up this morning, and I the first thing I do every morning, after my alarm clock goes off, if my alarm clock goes off, I pick up my phone, I unlock my phone, and I click refresh on eventhubs.com. That's every single morning. So when I saw Kano revealed, I was like, the fuck? What? So I was like, okay. Then I clicked on the video and I was like, okay, maybe it's a trailer. And then it's Ed Boon not speaking English. And I'm like, what? And so I saw the video and I saw the pirate outfit. I'm like, okay. Then I saw the render. And it's hard to talk about this character without seeing gameplay because he's already not one of my favorite characters. I'm not a huge Kano fan. And I really didn't like the MKX outfit. And this is the MKX outfit, basically, with detail.
Yeah,
so,
it's very similar.
He's got a little bit going on around the crotch, if I might say so.
What?
Yes, I know exactly how that sounds. Like, there's, like, chap details going on around there. It's subtle, but if you really stare hard around that area,
I don't
I
understand.
think that people who are looking for a Kano with more clothing on are not going to be impressed by seams on his pants.
I'm just saying it's there.
That's why it's hard to talk about Kano in a game with gear. It's like, what do you think of Kano? It's like, well, I gotta see the gameplay, I gotta see the gear, I gotta see the shaders. Right now, I'll be completely honest. I mean, everyone knew I was gonna say this anyway. I don't like what I see. I do not think he looks good. But if I can put an MK1 costume on him, if I can get like sort of like the old Kano with the MK3 outfit, all right. I think, like Cyborg said, he's a good fit for this game. I think it could be fun. I pretty much was ready for this. I wasn't ready for it today, but I kind of felt like Kano was coming sooner or later. So, yeah, I wish we could be talking about Cabal right now. Like,
We all do.
the reasons were good, like, I was devastated when I found out they canceled the Kombat cast. I was in a bad place. I fucking took a vacation day for that. But I'm glad everyone's safe. I'm glad no one had to endure that weather.
Yeah, minus
No, I had to
45-degree wind chills, nothing to fuck with. I don't blame them for canceling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they did the right thing, but it still really sucks. I really wanted to see Cabal, and I really did not want to see MKXKO. But all good though. February 5th is not far off, so yeah, I hope he's fun. I hope he's cool. I hope God, I'm praying they do the custom variation after all. I'm praying they don't give us 3 presets. I know people are fighting that battle for us on Twitter. God bless them. I think it would be so easy just to pick your character and then give me a menu of 8 moves. I feel like that'd be so easy to do. So I think Kano needs that. I think Kano, more than almost any other character, really needs that custom variation option on the select screen. So we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I'm normally happy with Kano wherever he is. Just give me that goddamn MKX airball back. The filth of, like, the low hit coming at you from across the screen. I love messing people up with that. It's just, people never see it coming until you use it too often, then you get punished badly.
Yeah, 10 versus Shadowloo Kano is 10-0. I got destroyed. It's so hard.
I mean, there's characters that I just want so much more, but I've said this, like, I'm never sad to see Kano show up in a game. That's it. That's all there is to it. He's very much a character with a playstyle that appeals to me. One of the few without a teleport who does.
I'm glad they had the courtesy to warn me before they revealed him back in January. I'm glad they at least strongly hinted that he was on the way so I can kind of brace myself for this. So,
I mean, at this point, you have to just know that most of the roster is going to be MK9.
I mean, if that's true,
Yeah,
then
I still-
Like,
I
we're
will
literally revisiting scenes from Trilogy they've told. Like, we're going back to the well.
That's probably the best part about this game is that in 11 weeks we'll know. Like, I mean, that's MK9, MK11 is not the worst case scenario. It's not the best case scenario for me. I still miss a lot of 3D era. But
Yeah, I mean, I obviously am a huge champion of the 3D era characters, but also if you tell me there's the potential that this game is going to just be devoted specifically to unfucking things that 9 fucked, I can wait for my Deadly Alliance and Deception
I
character.
think if you give me Sindel and Smoke, I can wait for a lot of things. Like, that would ease my mind deeply. But I mean, like I said, that's the good news. We don't have long to find out. That's probably the best part about this game right now. Because I'm so weary of talking about the roster. I am just so tired of talking about the roster.
I mean, that's the cycle.
Well,
It's going faster than
It's a
usual,
good
so
thing.
that's nice.
Yeah,
You're
it's definitely a positive.
you're getting that now, but like, apart from Scarlet, I guess, is there anyone you're really, really hyped up for so far, Temp? Because I know you're really amped for Cabal, so you might feel different come a week's time. Not even a week, man. Less 2 days.
Honestly, I mean, I'm going to play Sub-Zero, even though they did some weird stuff with him. I'm excited. Like, I have ideas of what I want to do with that character. Scorpion, I think the only reason I'm not more excited for Scorpion is because I've been seeing that asshole since December. So it's just, I'm a little Scorpioned out. I feel like I'm a little more hyped for Gear person, Giris. I feel like I'm a little more hyped for him, given that it sounds like. Well, maybe I'm less hyped for him. I don't know. I thought with Chronica Playable that all the time stuff was going to be split between him and Kronika, and Kronika was going to be, the premier time character, where Garrus was going to have like time attributes on top of the sand elemental stuff. And it sounds like that's not going to be the case. So I kind of wish they had amped up the time stuff with Garrus. But we'll see, though. I mean, we haven't even gotten to that topic yet, so. I mean, I guess to answer your question, Shadaloo, I'm always going to be happy for Sub. The hat wasn't really the problem I had with that design. My problem was it looked like gear. That was my big thing with Sub-Zero. The hat grew on me, but everything else just like Injustice gear thrown on.
It's the shoulder pads. The shoulder pads are painful.
Oh yeah, the shoulder pads are awful. They look uncomfortable as hell. It looks like he's going to cut himself if he does like the MK1 wing pose. Like
he's wearing giant saw blades strapped to his arms. It's just
hang on. I want to like check on Cyborg because it sounded like he was choking on the Kronika.
No.
Do we want to talk about it? Do you want to get it all out, buddy?
Folks, he was really looking forward to playing as Kronika.
I knew Cyborg had well received Kronika. I did not know that he was. I did not know Cyborg was that invested in the Kronika. I'll be honest. I knew he liked the character, but I didn't think he would take it this hard.
You motherfucker.
Listen
to me. Your time of talking is done. You listen to me now. I talk. I'm the talker. Back in Mortal Kombat X, I always said Cyrax isn't going to make the roster. And what did you say? Cyrax will make the roster. Don't worry about it. Cyrax is going to be, and he has to be. He'll be in Mortal Kombat X. Guess what? He missed the fucking bus. Flash forward. 4 years later. Here we are. Leading into Mortal Kombat 11. I said, I don't think Kronika is going to be playable. It's just shaking out like she's not going to be playable. What did you say? She's going to be playable. She has to be playable. I have no doubts that she'll be playable. You fucked me again and again and again.
Man, I thought I was the drama queen.
All I can say to that is, given what we know about MK11, Cyrax is going to be playable. There's no
Don't you fucking start with me!
Oh, here we go again.
BC?
I did the math, okay? All right? I found the problem with the equation. I know why he wasn't an X, but I'm pretty sure Cyrax is coming back for this.
BC, you and me, we're going to take a road trip, all right? We're going to take a road trip. We're going to, like, dig up Castleman and, like, we'll form a Cyborg support group. Because we are the unloved, the unneeded, and the unwanted. Ketchup, mustard, and relish. They just don't want us anymore, man.
You know what I don't get?
You've got to move on sometimes.
There wasn't a single game after 3, like if you count Gold as 4, that didn't have a Cyborg in it. And now all of a sudden we're getting Cabal and we're not getting Cyborgs? What's going on?
I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, guys. I'm pretty sure. Okay,
look, I don't want any more of your pretty sures. You take your pretty sures and you tell them to fuck off.
It's all right, man.
I am moderately certain we're going to get a Cyborg.
Oh, you're going to get a size 12 Cyborg boot up your fucking ass. God damn it.
We'll see.
Stop.
No. Oh, don't go breaking my heart. So what else have we learned?
I just take my hourglass and I just keep tipping it up and down, up and down. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So I have a question, actually. So my understanding is that, like, the Cold War Scarlet is actually, like, exclusive to people who live in Russia, and Pirate Kano is exclusive to people who live in Brazil. Is that an actual thing?
I don't know. I do not know.
It's an exclusive thing until they decide otherwise, and, like, 6 months down the line, they go, you know what we could do? What's that? Get more people to give us money. Okay! And that's when they make it available to the world. I have no doubt that's going to change.
I mean, sure. I'm just. Is it
I
actually
think that this
possible for a company to do that, to release DLC in only one country? What's the code look like for that?
no, it is absolutely and completely possible.
Okay.
Like, without getting into the specifics of it.
Like, I do like
entire-
Cold War Scarlet, but yeah.
There's this entire system that like developers upload DLC to, and like you can select the language that you want it to be advertised in and the countries it's going to show up in. So yes, there's absolutely no problem doing that. It's just, remember like when, what was it, Blue Steel, Sub-Zero, and like Crimson Ermac were like exclusives, and then they weren't?
Yeah, it just seems odd to me because like when you play online, like countries share servers. So I didn't know how the release of DLC shakes down for that.
I will say this.
It's all a matter of like what countries are able to download it.
To this day, though, that Scorpion costume is not available to my understanding. Unless you bought the statue, you can't get that Scorpion skin, right?
Are you sure about that? I'm
not sure, but I tried to buy it and I could not find it on PSN.
I mean, I can't exactly go check because, I haven't exactly checked because I own it and have since day one, but I feel like it's worth looking at the PlayStation Store if anyone's currently online.
I mean, I checked, man. I couldn't find it. Maybe it's Canadian exclusive? I don't know.
As if. We never get nice things.
Well, hopefully you get a Canadian Nightwolf.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Just all denim.
Well, I mean, he stopped short of the log flume joke, so I'll take it. Like, what else have we learned this week? Has there been anything else?
I don't think so.
It's just Kano and the fact that Kronika, according to an artist who works for NRS who was at the Brazil event, Kronika is not playable.
I mean, BC, that is one more potential slot for Cyrax or Smoke. Please,
That's
dear
true.
God.
Let's be honest here.
You know,
It's one
look
more
at it that
potential
way.
slot for one of the Combat kids. Let's just be real here. That's what's happening.
I mean, I don't want to put
right,
any
but it's
stock
Jackie.
in. I don't want to put any stock in leak lists or anything, but haven't a few of those things included Kronika, like listed her as definitely playable?
I have no idea.
I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room now.
I don't.
And you know what? I kind of love that there's 25 different leak lists out there, and still no one feels like they absolutely know shit.
I've
wonderful.
tried to pay attention to all of it, and all of it just contradicts itself. So it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Anything's possible.
For all we know,
Anything.
there's 30 characters on the base roster, which would be fantastic. There could be all combat kids. There could be only 2. There could only be 1. I mean, everything has been thrown out at this point. I've heard everything. So it's whatever. I'm here's the thing. I just don't right now. I don't have a main, and I'm in that place. We've all been there, and it hurts. Okay.
You're feeling now the way I felt in MKX, you know?
Yeah, well, that was
Everyone felt
MKX.
this way in
This is
MKX.
MK11. MK11 is already better than MKX and hasn't even gone out yet.
But you just got to do what I did, man. You take your secondary or your territory main, and then you make them your primary. And sure, you don't have quite the enthusiasm you do for playing, and maybe you die a little bit inside every time you see that select screen. Anytime you see that space on the select screen that could have your favorite person, and maybe you start drinking a little bit more than you should. But you're still playing. You're still enjoying the game.
It's also January 31st right now. Like, we're not even close to the roster even being halfway revealed yet.
Don't you fucking talk to me like that. This
Well,
is where you get
speaking
to,
of real,
this person's gotta be in. This person's gotta be in. You've done it to me once. You've done it to me twice. A third time? A third time? Is that what you want?
Hey, Cyborg.
I'm pretty sure.
How do you feel about Rain?
Rain's alright.
Okay.
He's probably in the game because the fact that Kano being in one of those menu pictures and now
Right.
confirmed.
Well, I
definitely-
mean, here's the thing with Rain. Here's the thing. So, the thing
Don't steal
about
my fucking catchphrase.
it's mine now. The thing about Rain is, I was pulling for Rain, for the sake of the community as a whole. I was pulling for Rain. Like I was like, let's prove that he can make an initial roster that's not an all-in game, and then I would be happy for him. That's all I wanted Rain for. Is he's one of those underrepresented characters. Now that if he's in the starting roster for MK11, I don't care anymore. Like that's great. I'm happy for Rain fans. He finally did it. It's like he won. He won. He finally made the cut of the football team this year. So good for him. But then it's like, man, I just don't. What's my dog in the race? Like Cyrax? I don't know about Cyrax. I'm not as confident as Temp is. And I agree with you that, yeah, we are probably getting a lot of the MK9 characters back, and then some of the MKX characters back, and then some new characters, and hopefully at least a couple 3D era characters. Because I gotta say, I'm not excited for MK9 plus MKX. That's just not... I want something else beyond that, and a couple new characters isn't exciting.
MKX already was MK9 plus MKX. We're just shuffling a few.
I feel like it was MK3 plus MKX, to be honest with you.
It was, because most of the MK3 cast sat out. Nightwolf, Sindel, Cyborgs...
I wouldn't hold your breath.
Really, all of MK3 sat out. The only character that made it was Ermac, and he's UMK3, so...
Yeah, no, I think
the ball might be the beginning and the end of that part.
The thing about it is like, you can add some of those MK3 characters in, and yes, that's going to make me more excited, but I don't know, man. Like, this roster, it hurts. It just hurt. Okay.
I mean, I have a question. Why on earth is Kano a staple? Why does Kano get a free pass every time?
Honestly,
timelines. I don't know.
I'm not really. It's corporate recognizability, mass marketability, and they look at MK1 through 3 and they see the games that were responsible for the hype and MK's heyday in the 90s, and doesn't really strike them that even though objectively now MK is bigger than it's actually ever been. No, it's the Street Fighter 2 effect. You're never gonna not get all 8 of those fucking guys in a game. And yes, I know Honda's not out yet for 5, but just wait for it. Just you fucking wait.
I Down for Ali just said it in the chat. He was left out of MK2 because of player metrics, because not many people played him. So
yeah, but that was 1993.
Like, the game was big, but it wasn't
and Kano wasn't even Australian yet at the time. You have a huge part of the reason Kano keeps making it into things is because of his fucking accent. People remember that guy because he talks funny.
In the movie,
that's literally all it is.
I agree.
He has that Terminator eye, and everybody knows that about him, and he talks funny, and everybody remembers that.
Hello, baby. Did you miss me? You call that a knife? And so on and so forth.
I'm just glad Barack is in. I mean, I feel like if there's a guy who really should be that annoying character who keeps coming back who I don't want them to come back, I feel like Barack is a better candidate than Kano. Like, I'm not the biggest Baraka fan, though it looks good in this game. It looks really good in this game, but...
Baraka's lighting people's asses on fire for the first time in, like, maybe ever, honestly.
I mean, all that new Shadows of Mordor stuff he's pulling out of his ass is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, it also helps that he sat out...
Like, a couple of games, yeah. Well, he sat out X and didn't get a particularly good showing from, Devore killing him. People are just going batshit over that flag variation now, and it's kind of wonderful. You want to talk about overexposed? I mean, Scorpion's the poster boy. Take the $300 collector's edition Scorpion head back. Give me the game wrapped in a flag.
Yeah, I had a lot of ideas for flag.
Everyone would buy the flag. Seriously.
I don't know. Like, I just feel like even as much as, because I don't even hate Baraka. He's so low on the totem pole for me. But like I said, I'm glad he's back. He looks good in this game. I feel like no matter how much I want or don't want Baraka, he always adds a unique flavor to the roster. That is not Kano to me. Kano is a greasy douchebag. And he'll always contribute that flavor to the roster.
I think Kano's pretty... Okay, so I played Kano some in 9, so maybe the fact that I'm actually sometimes a Kano guy. I have a bias.
Kano was a
But
tough
I've
match.
never, I
That's
haven't
weird.
felt like Baraka added something since MK2 until now.
I thought in Deception he added something.
I really didn't like him in Deception.
I like that costume a lot in Deception, and I like a lot of his gameplay staples that formed in that game. Like the double-bladed forward dash, that was really tight.
Let's
That's
be
probably my
clear.
favorite Baraka.
Let's be clear. When a character sits out for at least one game and they are brought back, there's something special to that. I don't. Maybe that's just me. But when Baraka sat out from Deadly Alliance and then came back for Deception, to me, that makes him more interesting and makes that feel like more of a special appearance and feeling like they're adding more to the roster. Same with Ermac being brought back for Deception. Same with Sindel being brought back for Deception.
Well, Ermac and Sindel sat out more than one game in a row.
I understand.
That's what helped with them. I've never had that feeling for Baraka. The only reason I like what I'm seeing in this game is because they gave him new moves and they are trying to build the character more. Like, just sitting out isn't enough. You have to do something with them.
Well, it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B, but I'm just saying
Like-
if Baraka was
like
in Mortal
Ermac
Kombat X,
Deception.
then I don't think he'd be getting as rave reviews as he is right now if he was in Mortal Kombat X as a selectable character.
I mean, Deception didn't just bring back Ermac. It also pretty much created everything about his character that we think of now.
Yeah.
Well, that
All
and
the
Deadly
stuff that got
Alliance.
thrown away.
And I think that's going to be the same for Baraka. I doubt he's going to not have a flag going forward. I think that's going to be a staple of his now. That most people, when they think of his
I'd be happy
blades
with that.
and
The
the
flag
mouth,
is really cool.
yeah. So I guess my point is, like the Mortal Kombat X characters, not like the newbies. I'm just talking about in general. The people that were in Mortal Kombat X are less exciting going into Mortal Kombat 11 for me. That's been my
get
whole
that.
thing thus far.
what-
Is bring back more trilogy characters that weren't in X. Bring back some 3D era characters. Just really give us something we haven't seen in a while. It's been 8 years since we've seen a lot of those trilogy characters. It's been longer for the 3D era characters, like a Frost or a Li Mei or a Fujin, even longer. Like, it's just insane.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is that I don't think if Kano sat one out, that when he came back, it would be the same as Baraka now. Like, Kano, I think, has already peaked in terms of things you can come up with for him. Kano's peak was becoming Australian. That was his flag.
I mean, he could pull out a shovel for all we know in his gameplay, and that could be the new hot thing. We don't know.
I don't think there would be much to that.
Shovel variation.
I think you're a little bit jaded on it.
I like Kano. Like, I'm not even mad that he's on the roster. I like Kano, and if he's on the roster, that's cool. He's not the one that I'm like bothered by so much. That Kano would I have chosen him? No, I also wouldn't have chosen Sonia. But at the end of the day, we got him, and I don't feel like it's the biggest issue for me. Like I said, I think he fits the game really well. It's more of, if we only end up with 25 characters and most of them are MKX, like characters that were in MKX with a few MK9 characters brought back to sprinkle in to keep us happy, then to me that's underwhelming. It just doesn't feel as fresh as I'd like it to be.
That does bring up a point. To be clear, I'm not upset Kano's back. Definitely not my choice, but I am waiting to like him. I'm very much waiting to see his gameplay and be astounded. I'm hoping he's cool.
You know, I'm actually surprised that he never got like different stances like Sonya did. Because you say, like, Razor, you say that you've done everything that they've done everything that they can do with him, but I can really easily picture like some sort of like Cody-ish knife stance or like a grappling or wrestling.
Doesn't he have a grapple stance in Commando?
Did he? I don't remember.
I feel like there was
a
some
knife
kind
stance.
of mechanic where
never
they
used
would make
anything
him
except
hunch
for
down with his
cybernetic.
arms out.
Maybe. But you could center more of his gameplay around that. Give him more to do with his knife. Honestly. It doesn't need to just be a projectile. And, I mean, the MKDA stances aside, I feel like he could stand to do a lot more with it. Why just break it out for projectiles and fatalities?
I suppose. I don't think that would be... Like, the thing that makes Baraka's flag cool is that it looks nothing like anything we've ever seen him do before. Kano just doing more with the knife is not that.
I got the answer to that, and it's chest lasers.
God damn it.
The trick is to find new ground for the guy to explore rather than ripping off someone else's, in addition to their wardrobe.
Look, Suhao's not even a guy anymore, right? He's just a collection of remaining scraps to choose from. Like, ooh, we like somebody to have this hat. Let's just put that hat on somebody. He's just leftovers at this point. Same with Jarek. I mean, it's just ideas still sitting there that somebody else can use.
I'm also kind of on the fringe when it comes to Sonya. I actually don't like what they're doing with Sonya right now. I think, once again, she can do everything. And she can do everything better than a lot of other characters. She's still very mix-up heavy, and her zoning just seems so brain dead. So hopefully they'll win me over. Like I said, I'm still open-minded, but Sonya is by far the character I'm least excited about right now.
You know, it's funny, we're talking about this, and 15 minutes ago, we were talking about how Kano and Sonya were the two least chosen characters in MK1, and that's why they sat out too. Yep. Look at today. See a trend? People are just tired of Special Forces and Black Dragon characters. You want to get to the nitty-gritty. The ninjas and the cyborgs and the gods fighting.
Yeah,
all this just seems so street level, you know?
That's my whole thought on the roster in general. Like, Razor and I argued a couple weeks back about, like, I used the term, and maybe it was the incorrect terminology. I used the term flashy. Maybe that's not the best descriptor. I just like people that can do extraordinary, the big special powers, the using ice and all sorts of the weird, crazy powers and shit like that. That is what
I disagreed with about, like, I agree on principle. I agree that, like, the Special Forces and the Black Dragon are the weakest part of the MK universe. Where we disagree is that I think Jax is the exception to the rule, and you obviously don't.
No, I mean, I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. I do agree with that. Out of all of them, Jax probably stands the best chance of being the most of that gang, or at least most fun to watch, I guess. That's ultimately what I'm wanting, is I want to see these powers. And to me, gun characters and military brawlers, if you have one in the game, that's perfectly fine. But when you have multiple, that's when it's just like, ugh. I think that's with X. Like, we all suffered that. Beyond the art style, it was you had Sonya, Jackie, Cassie, Jax. I mean, yeah, they're doing different things between them, but, like, it's all that kind of brawly street level, like you said. Kano, obviously, throw him in the mix.
And Tremor was there. Oh my god, MKX was MK Special Forces too.
And yeah, like I said, one or two of those characters doesn't really bother me.
But I don't disagree.
And that's why I've been saying, give us Smoke, give us Cyrex, give us Noob, give us Shane, give us these characters that are extraordinary and fun to watch. Like, if I want to watch street level brawling, I'll play a military game if I want to watch military shit. I want to watch.
The problem that you're feeling right now is a matter of the order they're being revealed in. If they had led with Noob, Saibot, and Jade, you'd probably be a lot more positive.
And maybe it's getting the less interesting out of the way first. And that's not to say we haven't gotten good characters revealed. Obviously, Baraka was a huge hit. Scorpion, in my opinion, his gameplay is better looking than ever. Sub-Zero's all right. And then obviously the biggest one that kind of wowed everybody was Scarlet. So it's not that they haven't... And Raiden looks good, obviously. So it's like, it's not they haven't led with some interesting looking characters. And maybe it is just, let's get Sonya out there. Let's get Kano out there. Let's get...
Well, I think
Cassie.
They got Sonya out there when they did because of Ronda.
Sure.
And they got Kano out there today because he has a skin that's relevant to Brazil. That's the only reason. I'm not even sure Kano was finished and ready to be shown. Maybe that's why he doesn't have body hair.
That would be so weird, given that it's almost February.
I
Like,
think
in a few hours it'll be February.
I think he was
That's-
almost guaranteed to be on that Kombat cast. I don't think they meant to lead with a Brazil skin to show him off at the very first. I think they planned to have him in the Kombat cast with Cabal and some other characters, but since that got delayed, they're like, well, we already have this message, and it's the Brazil event, and we have to do it now. Otherwise, why lead with a skin like that?
They're always polishing stuff all the way up to the last minute, like Supergirl's face in Injustice 2, Cassie's face in MKX. You know, they show us something, and then the final version looks better.
I just hope you're right in the sense that maybe there's an order to reveals here, and we're going to get to the ones that really just blow our socks off, so to speak, and maybe that's... I mean, we have Cabal, so it's not... Like I said, it's not like we don't have characters we want coming. Clearly there are. You know, Noob, Jade, Shang, I feel like are almost guarantees. Rain is in there as well. So there are characters that we want to see back that we didn't get in X. They're coming, but I don't know. I just... I don't know.
And I mean, think about Cabal. He's Black Dragon, but everyone's hyped up and looking forward to him because A, he's got this incredibly unique and always fun playstyle that's broken, dirty, filthy, and fun. And B, he's also ex-Black Dragon. And it's just got a really cool aesthetic,
I've
you know?
always said, like, Cabal was introduced having already quit the gang. So the fact that the Black Dragons suck has never touched him.
Yeah, exactly.
Except in Deception, where they ruin his fucking character.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know,
if he'd been
Well, go on,
reforming it as a force for good and not evil, people would have gotten, like, it would have been okay. It just, the fact that they just had him as a cackling villain,
I disagree with that, actually. I mean, I don't talk about it often, but Cabal is legitimately one of my favorite characters in the series. So, I've said it before, that the worst story thread in the history of Mortal Kombat is the Chaos Cleric Cabal. I hate that story so much. So...
No,
to me,
it was character assassination. You're agreeing with me here.
Well,
Nobody liked that shit.
Oh, maybe I misheard. I don't think there's a way you can make Cabal evil that's interesting to me. I don't think there's a way to do it.
I think what Shad was suggesting is what if his Black Dragon game had been good guys?
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Oh,
I think
okay,
you
then I
misheard me,
misunderstood. I guess where I was going with that was one reason why I like Cabal so much as a character is because out of most of the MK stories, with maybe the exception of Smoke, his is one of the most anime. I love the emotional punch behind that story.
I was with you up until that point.
I mean, to be
am
fair,
I wrong, though? Am I wrong? I think that's
It's a fair
sentimentality
metaphor.
makes it interesting. That sort of like that conviction-driven violence. I think that's cool, and I miss that a lot. We didn't even really get that in 9. Not the way we should have.
No, he was Cabal for like 20 minutes and then he died.
you know, firing lasers, running really fast, and throwing buzzsaws is pretty fucking anime now that I think about it. I think you've hit something, Deb.
I miss him. I miss Cabal a lot, and I miss that design a lot too. And I love good bad guys turning good. That's kind of a fetish of mine. So, and there's no doubt that came from watching a decade of Dragon Ball Z. I know that's kind of built into my soul at this point.
I don't know why this came into my mind, but somewhere there's somebody in a furry outfit, and you're talking to Sonic Fox for some reason, and then you're like, oh, the furry, and then all of a sudden Sonic Fox leans in and he whispers into your ear, yeah, but he was a criminal before, but now he's good. Like, oh,
Sonic Fox is not good. Let's be clear.
yeah.
It's because he used the word fetish.
Sonic
You
Fox does
redeem
not die
yourself.
defending his friends. There's a big difference.
You redeem yourself, you bad, bad boy.
That's what I think whenever I watch a good anime. Like whenever I'm watching a shonen of any kind, I'm always thinking like, oh, that's a really interesting character. It'd be a shame if they died defending their friends, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for as I watch the show. I'm waiting for that in My Hero Academia hard, but
I just feel like there's this big plot twist in a movie you watch, like an anime movie, where this bad guy goes good at the end, and you're like, son of a bitch, and then you grab the lotion and the tissues, like, jeez, didn't want to have to do this.
Fetish was a poor choice of word.
Yeah, apparently. But I guess we think of
I use the
fetishes
term in a
different-
more general sense, but what I meant is things that I like that
Sure.
other people might not like.
All right. Whatever. So let's get to some questions, I guess, because I did ask people to ask some questions in our chat here. So.
It's a very good day for questions because, as you can plainly tell, we're kind of stretching things a little bit.
Yeah, we were really hoping for that combat cast, and then winter happened.
All right, let me find a place here. Oh yeah, and an update to the fantasy draft. So Sai and I both earned 4 points for Kano. So we're still tied for last, but we are both at 9 points each, closing in on Django's 13. So just an update on that. That's the funny thing is a lot of these people that are rumored I have on my list. So yeah, but yeah. So
you're gonna be the saddest fantasy draft winner ever.
yeah, it's just one by one, like barely make it. No, I don't think
I'm just gonna sit here and keep sucking it.
Yeah, well, no, you're doing fine. Let's.
Sucking it.
Anyways.
I enjoyed my early lead, but my time is done now, and I accept it.
Too bad. The people were really behind you.
They sure were.
Yeah, they didn't really think that through. They're like, oh, I see a lead. he's gonna win. Okay, so I'm trying to find the questions here that started. So Adam asks, with the latest Kano Brazilian exclusive skin reveal and the already revealed Scarlet Russian exclusive skin, how do you guys feel about them releasing skins for characters exclusive to specific countries? Well, as long as it's not a skin for a character I don't have a problem with it.
I personally think that country-themed skins and holiday-themed skins are dumb looking, so I don't care.
That's it. Generally, I can't really give a rat's ass. I never ever once wore Johnny's Brazil shirt because I don't particularly feel a need to wear a theme from a country or a gimmick like the Cold War on my character.
If I were to say anything about it, it's that I think it's dumb they're wasting resources on that stuff instead of making canon outfits.
I tend to agree, although it makes us sound terribly, terribly selfish. But
I like themed attires, but like the Day of the Dead katana, I still want that. And if it's in MK11 and it's like a Mexico exclusive, I'm gonna have to somehow make it to Mexico to get one of those codes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do wish like Aaron Black's Day of the Dead outfit was in the game from the cards. That thing was sick.
That would piss me off if it's something that like looks legitimately awesome, and and it's a character that I actually play. Then I would feel worse. But since so far none of them have been something that I'm interested. Well, I mean, Scarlet looks pretty good. I won't lie, but I don't particularly plan on playing Scarlet at the moment. So.
And I'll reiterate this. I don't think they're going to stay exclusive forever. Most of them don't.
Yeah, no, they'll become widespread DLC at some point.
Just be patient.
Okay.
I'm fairly neutral on the idea. I think if they're non-canon, I'm not terribly bothered, but I just don't see who wins by making it exclusive. Like, do the Russian people enjoy their costume better by us not getting to play it? I just don't understand the logic. I feel like we lose out and they're giving up
more
money.
Copies?
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
When I have my
Canadian the game before.
When I have my Canadian Nightwolf, who actually like fires like hockey sticks out of his bow and arrow and is wearing a Mountie cap, will you all be upset? I don't think you will be.
It is really an odd like thought process. I'm not entirely sure why cater to different countries like that. It's almost like a make good. And that's the only thing I can think of is because generally things that happen like event wise are in America, and then rarely do you get like overseas exclusives like that. So maybe they're trying to cater to an audience that doesn't normally get catered to in that way. That's my best guess, but it is really silly. Moving on here. So Christmas Milk asks, where in the timeline would you guys think Kano is pulled from for Mortal Kombat 11? I don't know. The early obviously the trilogy somewhere in there. I'm not sure.
I mean, do we know that we're pulling characters forward? Because to me, with the Nethership background, it kind of looks like we're pulling older characters back. Is what I think is happening.
I don't know. I've been reading the different interviews, and it sounds like a mix. Like they describe something called time quakes, and they also like. I mean, I pointed out the other day that when you put the cursor on random select, it shows a bunch of arenas, and one of them looks like the subway from MK3.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be where we're jumping around a lot. I mean, they already said it's gonna jump around a lot. So maybe some things happen in the past, some things happen present. Some characters go back, some characters go forward. It's a mix.
We're gonna be revisiting like probably pretty much every major time in the MK chronology because Cabal is from MK3.
Well, I would
Assuming
say
you have a younger
every
Cabal, he's
major
gonna be
time
around that
from
mass.
MK1, 2, and 3.
You don't think we're gonna see like? Well, I guess yes.
I feel like
Depends.
they've actually
Depends.
specified in these interviews that it's a revisit of stuff from 9.
So you don't believe in the alternate timelines anymore? You think
No.
you think the past is just MK?
I mean, I think-
MK9.
I don't think alternate timelines was ever really on the table so much as Kronika was going, we need to rewind and do the tournament over and hopefully lead to the first timeline again. But obviously, stuff is going to get in the way of that.
I mean, you're probably not wrong, but I mean, I was really hoping with that mirror match Sub-Zero dialogue, I am from another timeline.
I mean, the mirror match dialogue all sounded like that in X2, though.
I'm aware.
So what you're suggesting
I
that
was
it's
just
only
really-
going to be from MK9 to MKX? That's not going to include the old games.
No, I don't think the old timeline is going to be involved, because if the old timeline was involved, then 3D era characters would have a window to come in, and I don't think that's what they want.
That'd be
That's
really,
the
really
sound
odd.
of-
I don't see that at
Sound
all.
of a man slipping slowly back into cynicism. That's what you're hearing.
I mean, I don't understand that. Like, why wouldn't it be from the original series to this series? I thought that was the whole point.
Well, I think so. For that to be a thing that's possible, the developers first have to admit that the old timeline and the new timeline are separate branches in like a multiverse. And I don't think that's how they see it. I think they see it like Back to the Future. There's only one time stream.
Yeah, I mean, it is one technical time stream in the sense of...
So the fact that 9 happened means the Deadly Alliance universe doesn't exist. There's nowhere for Kronika to pull people from.
I reject your reality and substitute my own hopes.
I mean,
I
it's
wanna
it's
believe
back
you're
to
wrong.
it's Back to the Future, right? So Back to the Future still, that old timeline still exists. It's just now you've created a new timeline that it runs
No,
parallel.
in Back to the Future, 1985A, where Biff had the casino, replaced the 1985 they were from. That's why they had to burn the almanac to put things back to normal.
I don't know. We'll
There's
see what
only
fucking
ever
happens.
one universe in Back to the Future.
Because there was
Raiden's motherfucking amulet.
there was a back and
Motherfucking
forth
almanac.
on Twitter where somebody asked straight up because they were confused: is MK9 a reboot? And 16-bit, I think, is the one that answered it, and he just flat out said, "No, it's not a reboot. It's a continuation." Basically, confirming that this all
Right,
of it
but
still
that
mattered.
doesn't
It all still
contradict what I'm
happened.
saying.
Well, I'm
It's
just saying.
possible that they'll just revisit the 1 to 3 period because they don't need to go or they don't want to go, both, any further than that. And keep it vague.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that we're gonna get Deadly Alliance and Deception and Armageddon referenced or like play a major role. I don't think it was outright erased in the sense of that never happened. It just didn't happen in this new where they basically did a 90-degree turn and changed how the timeline goes. That still thing existed. It's just not.
Well, I mean, the
I don't know.
other thing is that like Kronika wants to undo Raiden's changes, right? So she would only go back to points in time that Raiden was changing stuff, which is MK9.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, we're just kind of throwing out whatever the hell we nuggets.
Yeah,
we
I
have to
mean,
go by.
I don't know anything for sure at this point. I'm just saying, from all like the interviews I've read, they refer to MK1 through 3 a lot.
Right. Are they referring to 1 through 3, or are they referring to MK9? I guess is my confusion.
I don't think they see a difference.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. Senor Chthonian asked, is Kano inherently a pirate, so calling him Pirate Kano results in a redundant neoplasm?
I would imagine piracy's among his many crimes.
Kolb's asked, now that Kano has been revealed, do you think the rumors of his son are less likely or more? Less. I don't think that was a thing in general.
Did someone just mention Kano's son?
No, Shad. No, not at all.
Put it down, Chad.
No, yeah, Shad. No.
Because it kind of sounded like someone mentioned Kano's son.
No. They said. They said
Kano's one, right?
Yeah,
Kano's
he won a spot onto the roster. That's all.
Son as in S-U-N.
Yeah, like he's the light of our life because of his eye.
Okay,
He keeps it bright when it's dark.
His ball of fusion.
Let's keep dancing along.
That's what I thought was being said. All right.
Yeah. Randy Fuckface asked, why is Kano is the best character? I don't know why is Kano is the best character. I wasn't aware that he was.
Why
because
is
he uses his
Kano
might.
is the best character?
Sorry, I got his name wrong.
No,
I gotta apologize. That's not really his name. It's Randy Fuckface 27. All right. So moving on. Next up we have, along with Shad's typing, is Qual Yang is best boy. What is your favorite Kano design? Which ones do you think will get us customization options in the game? I'm partial to Deadly Alliance with the little lock of Sonia's hair. I like MK3 Kano. That's about it.
I like Deadly Alliance, and I like the Shaolin monks and Deadly Alliance alt version of the MK1 with the black stripes on the white gi.
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, as far as customization options, I just hope that we get some version of MK1 or 3. I don't think I mean, he really only ever has the 3 costumes, and then what was in 9 and X. He hasn't been in a lot of games, honestly.
I mean, there's also the Special Forces / MKDC one.
That's true,
And
with the
we're
brown
giving that
pants and the black button-up shirt.
We were giving that one a little bit of praise when we did our Kano retrospective, and it's actually really hard for me to choose a favorite, but I have kind of a low-key appreciation for that one. I do enjoy it. It's a nice color scheme.
It's all right. I think it's a little bland. Like, I mean, we were just talking about how Sonia and Kano are such boring characters. I think that a flashier outfit would probably help. Like, coming to the fight with nothing but pants on is probably not helping his case right now.
No, it's absolutely not.
For me.
But
yeah,
it's absolutely not. But it's hard to fuck up his outfits going over the past. Like, I feel like MKX was the one time they maybe really dropped the ball.
His MK9 alt had, I think, a crocodile tooth necklace.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get that back.
Why the fuck not?
I think Kano should ride around in the pouch of a kangaroo.
that'd be tight.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Or a kangaroo right around in the pouch of a Kano.
Wait, I've got it. Johnny Cage is a kangaroo, and he and his Australian criminal friend are about to find out that there's a lot more going on down under than the wonder of the god of blunder. Johnny Cage is a kangaroo.
Wait. Who does Rob Schneider play in this?
I mean, I can see Rob Schneider as Raiden. I don't see why not.
Instead of he must win, he just goes around saying, "You can do it." All right, moving on. So,
well, hold on there. I never got to pick my favorite Kano costume.
That was
It's
intentional.
MK1. we can move on.
MK1. Hopefully it looks better than it did in MKX. So moving on here, Chicoil. Thoughts on the way Kano looks, and do I know gameplay hasn't been revealed, but yet compared to the other returning character reworks design-wise, where do you rank him? Okay, so we'll answer the last part because we already answered the first part about thoughts on his looks. So where do we rank him on the other returning characters? I know Temp said not favorably.
He's slightly above Sonya.
I mean, it's so hard to tell before you actually see him on an in-game screen, in my opinion, like an actual on the stage next to other people. And we also have other people's gear and skins and all of that to account for, whereas we do not have that option for Kano. So it's a bit unfair. So just based on that, I would probably put him last, just because we have such little to go off of.
I mean, I'd put him above Sonya. I think I agree with Temp.
I do like
Sonya's design and just I won't go into the whole Sonya thing, but it's not what I was hoping for in this game. So Kano, at least I have high gameplay expectations. So we'll see.
Yeah, I might feel some kind of way once we see his moves.
I mean, I love the guy, always do, always will. But I do need to see more gameplay, and I need to see more skins and menu and shaders options. And so right now he is kind of dead last for me. He's not wowing me like almost everyone else has. Not yet. Potential to, but not quite there yet.
I'd like to make his MK3 costume blue. Like, the shaders actually sound tight with Kano. I think he's going to benefit a lot. Way more than someone like Scorpion or even Sub-Zero. Although, I'll say this, that blue, red Sub-Zero, if you see it in gameplay, doesn't look bad. It's an abomination, but the coloring looks good. It really pops.
This is why we will never play MK11 together.
Well, this is not an ugly design. I actually think it works.
Gonna make y'all eat that yellow snow.
Gross. All right, so let's move on to Kolbs. If we hypothetically see 4 characters along with Cabal shown off on Tuesday, who would your guesses be? So 4 characters including Cabal, or 4 characters in addition to Cabal?
I'd say in addition, right?
In addition, okay.
So at least not for gameplay.
So you're saying including Cabal. So 4 total with Cabal included in that 4 is what you think.
I'd say so, but is that your interpretation, guys?
Well, let's roll with that, because I don't expect a whole shit ton of characters to be revealed as much as I would like it to be.
It's going to be 45 minutes. How much can they show?
So let's say it's 3 more characters in addition to Cabal. I'm going to say Kano is one of those, which just leaves us with 2. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Liu Kang and Kung Lao. I feel like they're going to get all the ones we've seen actual footage of, in story, out of the way before we move on to unknowns. That's just my... maybe they'll do one unknown and then load up some of the somewhat known ones, the rumored ones or the pretty much you can assume ones, and then that'll be the pattern. I don't know. I just want to get to the ones we don't know about yet.
I'd love them to really pull something out of their asses and surprise us, but it is probably going to be, well, for all you people who saw the tweet of the slightly blurry, out-of-focus Emperor Liu Kang image, here's the real deal. So it's going to be Cabal, Kitana, Liu Kang, Kano. That's what I say.
I think us getting 4 characters covered is a bit of a leap. But if we were, just to answer the question...
That's it.
I would agree with Shad. Liu and Kitana.
We gotta get some characters covered, because they're gonna run out of time. If this is an every couple weeks thing, they have to do several characters at once. They can't get away with just 2 at a time, I don't think. Otherwise, they're gonna leave a good 10 characters uncovered by the end of it, which maybe that's what they want.
We don't know how often they're planning to do the cast once they get rolling. This is just the first episode, and it was delayed by a storm.
It's true. Temp, what do you got?
I'm gonna say Cabal, Kano. I will say they're gonna the next choice. One, they're gonna roll with the MK3 theme. The other one, they're gonna roll with what we already saw in the trailer. So I'm gonna say Nightwolf and Katana.
My God, I want to live in your world. It's
I don't
a
want
wonderful
to live in my
place.
world at all. My world's
We're getting
My world
Nightwolf,
is
and we're
wrong.
getting Kentaro.
Chameleon
Cyrax
with a
is in
C.
there. Smoke is in there, of course.
Oh shit! It's the water god.
It's the cliff from Mythologies.
Okay.
It's Wulei.
So down 4 asks, is winter the worst goddamn season? Because it's cold.
It's
Because you're
really
in
fucking
Chicago.
cold.
I think it's the best,
You're in
but I
Chicago?
live much further south than you guys do. So
Yeah, you don't have to deal with like trying to put gas in your car and getting frostbite within those 2 minutes.
it is 58 degrees right now. It's pretty nice outside.
Yeah, it's like
for
a-
Texas,
Oh,
that is pleasant.
shut the fuck up! Oh my God! What? No.
Well, hold on.
No,
In a few
no.
hours, it's going to be 54, Shadaloo, so we got to bundle up pretty soon.
Oh,
Oh, let me
no.
break up that violin. That tiny violin. It's here somewhere.
Chicoil.
Okay, the night I got back from LA, it was 4 a.m. when I got back into town, and there was a raging blizzard. Coming from LA drizzle to that was bullshit.
Yeah, we were wearing just t-shirts in Los Angeles.
Ugh. That's stuff.
Fucking-
Chicoil asks, what gear pieces do you think will be customizable for Kano? I think the eyepiece is a guarantee. I would second say the knives are very, very likely. And then the third would probably be the chest strap.
Yeah, that sounds right. Eye,
Concur.
chest, knives.
I mean, there's a possibility that the eye and the chest are tied together, but I wouldn't bank on it.
No, we haven't seen any gear yet that was 2 things in a single slot.
Don't mean it don't exist, but I'm just saying if they had to tie something together, it would make some kind of sense. The eye thing is a trademark of Kano's, but it's also a really tiny thing to customize.
I mean, it's about the size of a mask. I mean,
Yeah, it seems like that's the pattern. Everybody has like a face thing, a torso thing, and a weapon thing.
We shall see.
ish, yeah. All right, moving on. Car to the Low asks, do you think Kano and Sonia will finally bury the hatchet in MK11, similar to Sub-Zero and Scorpion in MKX? Not a chance.
No.
Those two
There's
characters,
no,
no.
there's-
No.
See, the
There's no
difference there is that
manipulation.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero are both the same alignment.
That's the thing. There's no manipulation going on there. There's no real wronged parties. This is an officer of the law hunting down a murderer who, depending on the timeline, killed someone very important to her. And there's no third party behind the scene pulling strings to make that happen. These are 2 people who hate each other very, very much. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, also, like, Kano is just a dick in general. Like, even his friends don't really like him. Like, Cabal and Kano don't get along, and they're on the same side sometimes.
Yeah, that's one reason why I would never want Kano to turn good, because I wouldn't want him to step on Cabal's turf. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of his thing, so...
Good Kano sounds fundamentally
I don't know,
wrong
man.
to me.
Temp, I feel like you're gonna be sitting there, Cabal turns good, and you're like, oh. And then all of a sudden, Kano turns good, they do a little kissing, you're like, oh.
And then
Oh.
Kano sacrifices
You're good?
himself
You're
in
good?
Cabal's
Oh.
life.
Goodbye, horses.
This is
Yeah.
a gasoline fight.
You fire rainbows out of that eye, you
would you-
dirty, dirty convict.
Would you turn good? I'd turn good. I'd turn good so hard. All right.
That's his finish.
Oh boy, we're gonna have
Why do
fun
I
with
say things?
Yeah, we're gonna have fun with that. Harvey Dent asks, are you guys disappointed as I am about Kano making the roster? I don't hate him by any means, but I just really thought he needed to sit out. I think we already all gave our thoughts on Kano making the roster.
Yeah, it's like I like him and I always will, but if someone had taken his place or if he'd sat out, I wouldn't be complaining to see him back. That's it.
To me, the sin is not that Kano's on the roster. The sin is that there's only 25 slots right now, and I hope that changes. It's not Kano's fault there's only 25 slots.
Agreed.
That's the real mistake here.
Yeah.
Kano isn't going to sell, like, he himself, his presence is not going to diminish the roster. It's all in how they use all the other spots. It's when you have too many Kanos on a roster when it becomes a problem. If you have too many of those types of characters, that's when it becomes an issue.
The people who wear camo.
Yes.
That's the category that is the problem.
I was thinking Australians, but sure. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. We're going down that road.
We only have one Australian in the game.
Oi, mate, you take that back. Jam your thumb up your butthole.
I'll cut you, I will. All right, so
Feed you to dingoes like a baby, I will.
Gug asks, do you think this roster will just end up being mostly MKX returnees? I think
mean,
a lot of MKX
yes.
and a lot of MK9, yes. I don't think
That's
everybody in MK9 is going to make it on the initial roster. And I hope DLC has 3D era characters on it, at least a couple. Because let's be clear here. MK9 had 2 3D era characters, if you count Quan Chi and Kenshi. MKX had 5, with Quan Chi, Kenshi, Shinnok, Tanya, and Bo. Shinnok, Tanya, and Bo being the 3 ones that hadn't returned yet in this new, obviously, since MK9. So with MK11, even if they're doing more of a trilogy focus with story, through DLC, at the end of the day, I hope to at least get another 2 or 3 characters that have not been brought back yet, brought back in this game. Be it Frost, be it Fujin, and then whoever you want to throw there in the third, a Havoc, a Lee Mei, Serena, whatever. I'd still like to see them continue that pattern. I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't think that. Like, I know we all, like, most people give them a lot of flack about not representing the 3D era at all, but I mean, MKX, you had 5 of them. That ain't shabby. It's not a lot, but it's not shabby either, and 3 of them hadn't been brought back yet. So with MK11, I hope they continue that trend and bring back at least 2 or 3 more that we haven't gotten back yet.
I mean, first of all, the inclusion of MK4 in the category of 3D era is a fuzzy thing.
Yeah, we just do it because they're underrepresented, so I just toss them in there. So, I mean, that's what we talk about with 3D era in general is they're not represented enough to be considered trilogy era. That's obviously trilogy in its very form is 1 through 3. That's the first 3 games.
Yeah,
so 4
I'm
kind of falls
just
in its
saying,
own
like,
abyss.
When people say they want 3D era characters back, they don't mean Quan Chi.
Yeah, that's
just
it. Like,
don't.
that period between 1997, 1998, and like 2002, where MK just basically, minus special forces, for all intents and purposes, did not exist, was a dark fucking time. When people say classic characters, I keep thinking of like I consider Tanya and Quan Chi and to some extent Reiko and Fujin as part of that roster. When people say 3D characters are underrepresented, I'm like, yeah, you know, we've got like Bo Raicho and Kenshi, and maybe now we'll get Frost, and that's just about it. I really consider it like the 3D PlayStation 2 / Xbox era. You know,
Yeah,
that's it to me.
some people delineate and some people don't. The other thing, though, is like, yeah, with DLC, I mean, the more of trilogy they shove onto the base roster because it's story relevant, the more that means that the only thing left for DLC is the 3D era.
I mean, even if you look at MKX, who did we get? We got Bo, we got Tanya, Tremor, wherever the hell you throw him in. I mean, that already is 3 of that kind of MK4-ish to MK, and I'm going to include Special Forces in that little shindig all the way through the 3D era. So that was 3 characters. Did we get a single trilogy era character in the MKX DLC?
Unless you count Triborg, no.
No, I wouldn't. I'd consider him new, technically.
I mean, just from a pure move standpoint, the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite characters are just function standpoint.
Oh boy.
We got Sector and Cyrac.
No, I refuse to.
I understand.
Okay,
I understand. I'm just saying.
But yeah, so I mean, I guess my point was with MKX, we did get a lot of 3D era characters, or that era represented through DLC. So it stands to reason we could be seeing the same thing with MK11. So that should raise some people's hopes on seeing some of those characters return. Because I agree with you. But my fear is the ones that from Trilogy that don't make the roster, whoever those are, like a Smoke or whatever, those are going to be like your first up, a Reptile, a Ermac. If they don't make base roster, those are going to be your front of the line DLC characters, and that's my biggest concern, is that you just get like the overflow that didn't make the initial roster as the DLC characters. Not that I don't want to see Smoke. I would love to see Smoke or a Nightwolf if they don't make the initial roster. Those are fine. It's the MKX ones like Melina, Kenshi, the characters that didn't make the roster here but were in X. Quan Chi, like, dear God, we can stand a game without him.
I feel like the more we say his name, the more likely he is to come back. So let's just stop doing that.
We've only said it, what, twice? It's the third time that gets you.
Yeah, and also you have to be looking into a mirror, but still, let's just not push our luck.
Okay. All right, let's move on then. So, $500 Sunglasses asks, do you think Kano will have more significance to the story this time around, or the same old Sonia arc? Same old Sonia arc. That's my opinion. Yeah.
I think Kano is almost exclusively going to show up in, like, time visits to the, like, MK9 stuff. Like, somebody will drop in on him and Sonya fighting on Shang's Island, and that's his role.
He's there to interact with older Sonya and Cassie. Those are the two
that's true. There is, like, the menu picture depicts him fighting Cassie, so maybe we'll see that.
I think he's gonna go back and tell himself, right, this Sonya Sheila, she's gonna be a right pain in your butthole. You know what you should do? Right over there, that's her daughter. Kill her before her eyes. Then kill her too. I think that's gonna be it. He's just gonna go back and just get himself to troll Sonya.
You think Kano is gonna team up with Kano?
Yes.
To be a pain in the ass?
Yes.
I kind of want that.
He's gonna.
I think Kano's gonna buy himself a drink. Is what I think.
I think Kano's gonna betray Kano.
I think
Possible.
I think the two Kanos, they're gonna be so bad, but then they're gonna turn good, and Temp's gonna be like, "Oh, clones turning good from different timelines." Oh,
Ice clones turning good. I can get behind that.
Kano sacrifices himself for the other Kano.
As he mugs him.
Anime scale.
No, I can see it right now. Kano grabs younger Kano, uses him as a shield instinctively, accidentally erases himself. Oh, bugger off, thud!
Quest What You Going, Quest What You Going, asks, how do you feel about the Kano design? Already covered that one, so we'll move on. Thanks for asking the question, though.
Love you.
Brad asks, what is your story predictions? Which side are you on, Kronika or Raiden? I think we're all pro Kronika, just on principle.
I am super pro Kronika.
Just from a classic timeline, yes, standpoint. Card to the low, do you guys feel that Cassie might be the only MKX character to make the roster? Because it's starting to look that way. No, I think we're getting Kotal, Aaron, and maybe one other combat kid. I'd be surprised to see Devora. I don't think there's a chance for Ferritor. And I am highly concerned that we get all 4 combat kids. That, to me, is worst case scenario.
I think Aaron and probably Kotal are locks. We'd be surprised if Aaron was not in the game.
So, when we were closer to release, I was pretty confident that Cassie would be the only one. Like, we wouldn't even get Kotal.
Did you just say when we were closer to release? Have you come from the future?
I meant when we were closer to the reveal.
All this time dilation.
They are similar words.
In my head.
Who the hell are you?
Closer to the reveal.
You can't see it.
But now I'm starting to wonder, and especially with leaks out there saying things that are potentially bullshit, but potentially not, like that it's actually going to be 30 characters on the base. I'm starting to think maybe we'll get the whole fucking team.
That would be the worst decision ever. Because, yeah, I've heard... I mean, there's YouTubers out there predicting all sorts of shit. We've seen it on several and this is what I meant with like leaks contradicting each other. That's why you can't believe a fucking thing that any of them say, which is a good thing because it keeps you not knowing, which is a good thing. It's just concerning because if it did go up to 30 and all that meant is we get all the combat kids, that would be, in my opinion, a waste of... Like, I'd rather it be 25 and only get 2 of the combat kids. I don't know. But
it's not even that I dislike them all. I just don't need them all back at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
you can spread them out. There's plenty other opportunities.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, we have talked about several times that the biggest problem they have is that they're fucking joined at the hip to each other. They function as one unit instead of as 4 unique characters.
And that's why NPCs work, you know? You can have NPCs. They can be there in the game still, in the story, to serve whatever purpose, to be erased by Kronika, whatever. It's cool. Let's see. Quest what
projecting a little. But anyway.
Yes. Quest what you going. Oops. I just realized that was asked. My B. Do you think present Kano or past Kano will be the only one, or be the one they go with? So we stated before we think it's past Kano, but you're probably going to get present Kano still somewhere in the mix.
Well, yeah, we're getting both versions of everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think, like, if the question is, at the end of the game, which one will be the one who stays in the present-day timeline?
Yeah.
I think everybody's gonna be status quo except for, like, the Revenants. I don't know that we're going to get, like, young Sonia and Johnny just so they can keep putting Sonia and Johnny in games. Because if they really want to, they're already ignoring the fact that Sonia's 50 and making her look young and, like, agile. They can just keep doing that.
Do we know that's the old Sonia, though?
I mean, she's wearing her MKX outfit.
Look, don't you talk down to me. All right.
She has a wrinkly face.
Pretty wrinkly.
Kenshi Master 16, that
It's looking pretty
bad
good for 51.
bad boy asks, how do you feel about Kronika not being What? Oh, that's weird. That question just disappeared. So let's move on to Christmas Milk. Who are you guys most excited to see Kano interact
Wow.
with? Maybe Cassie? I think Cassie's got to be the one that you want to see him interact with, right?
I mean, it'd be the only one that we haven't ever seen before.
All right.
Meh. Yeah, pretty much meh.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Although,
Also,
now that we
I'm-
have intro dialogues, Kano and Cabal fights could be interesting.
I'm looking forward to those. Make no mistake. I want to see. I don't think we've ever had the opportunity to really see much of what they would have to say to each other. You know,
Yeah.
in a combat scenario. I want like bad Black Dragon drinking jokes.
I mean, if you do the math from MK3, Cabal should loathe Kano. They should really not like each other, or at the very least, Cabal should really not like Kano.
Well,
I'd
it
like to
depends
see
on
that manifest.
how quick you get to him. Like, maybe he hasn't had time to process how he ended up scarred and masked.
Oh, that'd be disappointing. That'd be MK9 all over again. I don't want that.
Kilmansky asks, I'm so disappointed Kano is in, I would rather have Fujin or Montaro. So that's not really a question, just a statement.
Motaro
Montaro.
Montaro.
It's Motaro's brother.
from the Riviera.
Yes. Sai asks, thoughts on the fatality theme for MK11.
Montaro.
Sai likes it. It's also kind of Middle Eastern-y with those female vocals part of it. You know, I didn't really pay much attention to it right now. I still like the MK2 one, like that little tune they play, probably the most out of all of them.
I haven't noticed any of the music in the game yet.
Same.
Yeah,
I
it's kind of
can't
on
say
the...
it's really jumped out at me, but I do like the Black Dragon Fight Club theme music.
That's true.
There's that, and the
I keep noticing this
nuts.
weird sound that's in the Black Dragon Fight Club music. It sounds like when you hit the finish him moment, they sample a bit of it from MK2.
Neat.
Yeah, music's on the smallest part of my nutritional pyramid for what makes a good Mortal Kombat game. It's still important. You want to have good music, but it's the thing I'm least worried about, I guess.
Like there's just this little sting I keep hearing when I'm watching the gameplay, where when the match ends, it's like, "Wee-doo-doo!"
In the Black Dragon Fight Club specifically?
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah, it's real brief, and I don't know if I'm imagining it or not, but I've heard it.
Maybe that's like their in-house
5
PA system. Like, this is a place where they actually have death matches. And their announcement is actually the finish him from MK2. That would be wonderful.
All right. Rain Reptile asks, does Kano make you more or less skeptical about the roster? We kind of went over our issues.
We
or
sort of knew he
thoughts
was in already.
on the
I
roster.
mean,
yeah.
he was already kind of a factor from our previous episodes. We saw this coming. I just didn't think we were going to see it coming for today, but
Yeah, we have
he was kind of always in the equation.
We have a vague idea of what is making up those 25 spots, and there's a certain amount of blank spots sitting there that's where the real nail biters come into play of who's going to make it, who's not. Is it 25 spots? Is it 30? You know, all of these are factors, so yeah.
I'm in the same place. I think we've all been ready for this ever since we saw the menu artwork.
Yeah, it was a surprise to see him on there, but yeah, I think at this point, if you're prominently featured in the menu, which I think is just Kano, Rain, and maybe Smoke, it's still hard to tell if that generic
No, maybe.
Rain
That
Ninja
guy is super generic. He looks
No,
like
maybe.
a created character.
No, maybe. No.
I mean, ever since I saw the exhibition matches, I'm like, my God, this looks like a Kano game. I feel like we can't dodge Kano this time.
Yeah, it's
this
the
engine
most,
was built for Kano.
It's the most brawly, like just bare knuckle brawly of any of game that they've ever done. So yeah, it's definitely up Kano's alley.
There is this weird flavor they like of like boxing. Like they mentioned boxing a lot when they introduced that like close up mini game in MK versus DC.
Yeah.
And it's weird to me because like that's not really what martial arts is like. It's usually more the like flippy spin kicks when you watch a kung fu movie.
At least those are the enjoyable ones. Card to the
Yeah.
Low asked, why does NRS seem intent having the entire MK1 cast in every game? Kind of covered that already as well, just from it's an iconic status. They feel like they're the ones, and they just have probably the most story threads out of all the characters just because of their longevity, but no, it's...
I mean, making excuses for X is one thing, but this game, again, the time travel back to MK9. You gotta use the MK9 guys. It is what it is.
That's strike 2 for you, mister. All right. Sai says, story being the number one priority, fighting game. I don't know what the hell he's probably reacting to somebody else. So let's move on. Castlemanias, what has Kano contributed either story or gameplay wise in the last 3 installments? Well, I mean, a lot of people liked him in MKX, like his gameplay, so...
He sold guns, and then they never used the guns.
He betrayed...
Yeah, the biggest takeaway from that was Baraka's whole speech on gun safety. Like, that was the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the one shining moment. Like, rockets in the living forest and shotgun in the face of Baraka.
By the rights
But,
of
like, I just love that he's been selling, like, Outworld guns for the next 20 years, too, and nobody in Outworld has a gun except, like, Aaron's ancient revolvers.
Shang Tsung's the only buyer. Shang Tsung just has a basement of guns, dude.
He probably sabotages them on general principle.
Yeah, like, if he's just selling them boxes of parts and they're, like, Outworld has no idea what a gun is, so they don't realize they're being scammed and they keep buying for the next 20 years.
All right. Adam asked, how would you guys feel if they made all the DLC characters just
Are you
guest
having a stroke?
guest characters?
Now that's what would give me a stroke.
I can't tell if he's yawning or throwing up or both.
Oh god, I threw up in my mouth. If they made them all guest characters, they would get the most amount of backlash I think they've ever gotten. I mean, there'd be a lot of happy people, don't get me wrong. There's going to be a ton of happy people if they do all guest characters. But
Please.
there is definitely a line that I don't think even they can cross. So no, I don't think that's even a possibility.
The line is 2 per pack. That's the line.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll know for sure when they put out 6 in one go or 6 in one pack. Technically, if we get 3, then We can just assume it's always half, but yeah. Hopefully not. I think
If
2
it's
at the
half,
max.
I'm not gonna be happy.
I'd say that maybe if we could just take Spawn and also take Shaggy and like shove Shaggy up Spawn's ass and put them into a box and
Can you
add some
shove
some
Shaggy up
stones.
Spawn's ass and
I
then
think
shove
you can.
Spawn up Shaggy's ass and form a
Like a
Mobius
yin-yang?
strip of everybody go fuck themselves?
As long
we
as
do
you
that?
can put them in a box full of stones afterwards and drop it to the bottom of the Mariana fucking trench. Yes. Yes, we can.
All right, Assassin Venom. Am I the only one who wants all 4 kids back? No,
Yes.
there's
Yes, you are.
I think Judgment Fist likes the kids a lot, so maybe you have her on your side, but no, I don't think that's a very popular desire.
I mean, there have to be some people out there who want that, and I don't think that you're wrong for wanting that. It's just,
I do.
I don't think that's a very common opinion, my friend. I like all 4 of them, but I just don't want all 4 of them back. That's all there is.
It would feel poetic to me if people who wanted all these new characters did not get them back in MK11. It's like, well, why didn't I get, Jackie or Takeda back? I'm like, sorry, we had to make room for new characters. Our bad. Have a good day. Like, it just feels kind of poetic to me because this is exactly why I want to cap the new characters.
Yeah, I
'Cause
agree
people
with
don't
that.
want to play with their old toys.
Yeah, I agree. It's pointless to continually adding 7 or 8 new characters if you're only going to bring back 2 of them, and then it's just like it's just a vicious cycle. Because then you have the classics and the 3D. Like everybody's arguing and fighting for a spot. To just keep adding to that pile just does not make a lot of sense. You got to
Every
have
game
some
we
new,
have
but
more characters in this universe and less boxes on the select screen than the previous game.
it is.
This would be
true.
really fucking funny if they brought back 3 combat kids in Ferritor. I swear to the only person who walked away from that going, ugh, I guess it could have been worse.
Oh boy. Last couple here, and then we're shutting it down. We have Adam asking what retro stage, or I guess we skipped one. Con Lao asked, does anyone have the link to the leaks about 30 characters they're talking about? Let me answer this for you. No. Adam asks, what retro stage from MK1 through MKD would you guys want in MK11 the most? Man.
The Portal.
Combat too.
I still like Shang Tsung's throne room. It still is a favorite of mine. I like the
I
storm
want to see
on the
the
outside.
tower done right. I really didn't like how the tower was handled in MK9.
If we only
Really?
get one, mine's always been the
Oh, yeah.
Portal.
Yeah.
Man, I
Especially because the Portal wasn't in 9.
can't actually say that. I thought they did the tower badly, Temp. What didn't you like about it?
Well, to me, one of the appeals of the tower is that it's so fucking high up into the hemisphere or the atmosphere that there is nothing when you look out the window. It's just blue and clouds. That was one of the coolest things about the tower, in my opinion. So when you find out it's only like 8 stories, it kind of takes out the grandeur.
Yeah,
Another
there
problem
were
I had is
other
the,
like buildings and mountains out the window this time.
that took away a lot of the appeal. I also didn't like the eclipse effect. I feel like they should have made
That
2
it's the
versions of
fucking
the stage.
hyperbolic time chamber now.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that.
Okay, fair
Warrior
points,
Shrine would
fair
be a
points.
good one.
Especially after an MKA, that's the best looking stage in Armageddon, in my opinion. I loved the tower in Armageddon. That's the best it's ever looked.
Palace Gates.
Would you guys want the MK2 portal with like the floating monks, or would you want the hidden portal from MK3 with all like the desert wasteland and the towers in the back?
I'm partial to 3.
I like the way Deception did it, where if you face one way, it's MK2, and if you face the other way, the towers are back there. I think maybe you could... I don't know if it would work with both, but the courtyard in this game is at an angle, so... maybe there's something you can do.
Okay.
All right. Well, last couple here. So, Great Kung Lao, is this how hopes for good roster dies with thunderous applause? No, I mean, it still could be a very good roster. We just got to see. It's just, it's
People are gonna shut up. They're gonna praise it to high heavens the moment they see Noob Saibot and Jade. Those are the only two it takes.
not for me.
I mean, we are a little more nuanced, but the vast majority of people, Noob and Jade, and they're done.
I do agree with that. Those will please the majority.
Like, look at what we have now. Try to recompute the fact that Scarlet's in the fucking game, base roster, and think about the possibility of Rain also being base roster, in addition to Noob and Jade. That's pretty fucking cool when you think about it.
I think it's all about attitude too. I can't think of like. I think the question is MK11 gonna have a good roster. That is the wrong question. The question should be is what characters do I want to play, and those are the characters I need to put my cards on. Will I get one of those characters? That at least that's what I'm doing. It's not about if the roster is gonna be good. It's about of the 3 characters I want to play, will I get one of them? That in my opinion is the right attitude. And that's still not a winning attitude. You may not get what you want. And that's unfortunate. I mean, sympathies if that's what happens, but I don't think I can look in any fighting game. I can look at the roster and be like, how would I grade this roster? Because at the end of the day, I don't play a roster. I play a character. So I'm just hoping that of the characters I want to play competitively, one of them will make it. I think that's the only way you can look at a modern fighting game roster. Because there's just so many characters now, and most of them are not going to make it in.
Yeah, Lee May is pretty much dead in the water.
I don't believe that, but I have to accept the possibility she's probably not in. But I think she's still possible.
Yeah.
I think the fact that she cameoed helps out her case a little bit and tells me they know who she is, which is good.
I think it gives her a chance as DLC, even if it's a remote chance. I think she's in the same boat as Serena in that they clearly do like those characters enough to keep featuring them, along with Frost, though Frost has the fan popularity backing her, whereas Serena and Lee May kind of fall back in they get lost in the shuffle variety, but I don't think it's out of the question that either of them make DLC.
I don't think it's out of the question to make the roster. I'm not saying it's likely, but this is kind of why I'm so wary of roster talk, is because we're essentially talking about nothing. No one knows anything. So you're really just kind of punching yourself.
Seinfeld. All right.
No, I hear you. I mean, it's a good show.
Hennessy Hufflepuff. Odds Melina loses the lips that she had in MKX. Doesn't matter. Maybe it's a gear piece. Maybe it's a skin. I don't know.
40%.
Hopefully she's not even in the base roster, please. I don't know. I don't know what I want anymore. Okay. So, Kung Lao, and like I said, just a couple more. Stop asking questions, please. Like this list is just it's a bottomless list. Kung Lao, I'm shutting it off.
You the Lost and just cut off at any point.
No, I know. I'm shutting it off. Well, I'm shutting it off here.
Kung Lao, why did you mute your earphones when I was playing the Kano theme earlier? I saw that. I am not impressed.
Kung Lao asks,
You're not using your might.
Which 3D era character has the best shot at base roster at this point? I think it's a toss-up between Frost and Fujin. That's my honest opinion.
It's Frost.
It's Frost. Should be Fujin, but no, it's Frost.
Frosty!
I'm just tired of getting blown up. I think Fujin's a lock. I've always been Fujin's a lock. I'm glad this game is 11 weeks away because I'm just so tired of talking about this shit. I want to summer child talk about real shit again. I'm so tired of speculating. I did that a year before this game came out.
I want to hold your hand, Temp.
I've made my stance. No, Kentaro is a distant hope. That is a Hail Mary. I'll admit Kentaro's a Hail Mary. I don't think Fujin's a fucking Hail Mary.
No, I don't think Fujin's a Hail Mary. I think if Fujin doesn't make base roster, I would be honestly shocked if he doesn't make DLC. That is my honest opinion. I'm not saying I expect him, but I will be shocked if he's not at least DLC. And I think Wave 1 DLC. I think if he's not on base roster, I think he's somebody they would want to lead with just to get everybody to shut the hell up and be happy. Frost, I think, has the better chance for actually being on the base roster.
if they showed off a Kentaro trailer next week, I would just record a 5-minute segment for this channel where it's nothing but me laughing. That's
I
it.
hope there's a newspaper in that video, Shadaloo.
I'll leave the newspaper out of joy if Kentaro is released.
If they fucking
I'll
reveal
eat two.
Kentaro, you will see the pop off of the ages. Oh my god.
Oh my! If only, if fucking only.
Okay,
I will
Adam.
never shut the fuck up about Kentaro, but go on, Cyber. Ask that question.
Last question from Adam. How would you feel if they brought back Bihan as himself instead of Noob? No.
Kind of uncomfortable. I mean, I've always said that I like the notion of Bihan as Sub-Zero, but I don't want Bihan turning good. And I wouldn't sacrifice Noob Saibot in order to have that back. If you give me a new timeline where Bihan stays Sub-Zero for longer and Kuai Liang is put off for a little while, I'm not going to say no to that because I like the notion of a legitimately evil Sub-Zero. But just as an option to explore. But would I bring him back right now, this game? As opposed to Noob? Hell no.
So first of all, Kuai Liang is already confirmed on the roster. So you're asking for there to be 2 Sub-Zeros. You're asking to waste a spot on the select screen.
He's asking how we'd feel about it.
That's rare fucking real estate.
He's asking how we'd feel about it.
The coolest thing about Bihan is Noob Saibot's costume and moves.
Yeah.
It would be funny if we had Kuai Liang, Bihan, and Frost all in one game on a 25-character roster. That would be
right?
Feels bad, man.
Yeah. I just can only imagine. Frost
People
is just... she's just
like
walking
Noob
up
Saibot
for...
Noob Saibot.
She's walking up to take her place on the roster, and then all of a sudden, Bihan shows up to take that as the second Sub-Zero, and Frost just hangs her head down, walks away, steals the amulet, gets frozen. You know, the old...
Frost comes in, slowly charges up a freeze blast. Pokemon! Removes mask, it's Bihan.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully, as long as weather is willing, praise Kronika, that we can make it to the next episode and cover Cabal and whatever else they have to show us. Additional thoughts on Kano, perhaps, if he's there. What other characters they show. Hopefully they stack it as, you know, since we're waiting an extra week, which obviously wasn't, you know, their fault by any means, but there's an Xbox event or a stream or something that has its own reveal, I guess, an hour after the stream. So hopefully we'll get even more stuff shown. I don't know. Maybe we'll get more stages. Who knows? But hopefully it's good and gives us a lot to talk about on our next episode. But on that note, thanks everybody for tuning in, giving us questions, listening live. Make sure to check out the Discord. Hey, check out all of our shows. We got a new show called Random Select that Down for Reality and I host, where we cover all the Mortal Kombat 11 characters in depth, and we bring on guests from the community that are fans of those characters. Check out The Lost. I think a new Scorpion episode is going up soon. And you have a Warrior Shrine that covers the competitive aspects. So check out all of our shows. We got a million things going on. We've been pretty much putting out something new every single day this week, so you can't complain about us not giving enough content because we basically put out 15 hours of content a week. I don't think any other Mortal Kombat YouTuber can say that. On that note, take care, everybody.
Lots of love.
Later, everyone.
Good night.
And I'm just kidding, Randy, but don't you fucking say her name in vain again.